Hey, Tom here from the Run Testers with the running shoe Versus. This video is brought to you by the team over at Precision Fuel and Hydration. More about those guys in a bit. But to the shoes. Now this is a really interesting video that has been a long time coming, because if you watched any of my videos recently on the channel, you'll know that I'm a very big fan of the New Balance Fresh Foam More V3. It's my favorite cushion shoe at the moment. I absolutely love it. And that probably comes as no surprise to many of you. But the shoe that it beat to the top spot was the Brooks Glycerin 19, which previously was my favorite cushion shoe. And I'm a big fan of cushion shoes, so I pay a lot of attention to the new ones that come out. Recently, the Brooks Glycerin 20 has been released, which is a very exciting shoe because it has some updates from the previous Glycerin 19. So yes, I've been waiting to try the shoe to see if it can knock the New Balance More V3 off the top spot as my favorite cushion shoe. Can it? Let's take a look. Whether you're looking for the best cushions options out there, or you're looking for super shoes designed for race day, chances are you're going to be doing a lot of running. And when you're doing a lot of running, you need to make sure that you're getting the right energy levels to make sure that the runs you're doing are effective. The team over at Precision Fuel and Hydration have just launched their caffeine gel. Now this will give you 100 milligrams of caffeine, 30 grams of carbs in every single one of these little packs. Now I don't know a lot about carbs and caffeine when it comes to fueling for your runs, so if you want to find out more about how you should be fueling effectively to optimize your training, head over to the Precision Fuel and Hydration website, where there's loads of information on caffeine and carbs and hydration to make sure that your runs are as effective as possible. There's a link in the caption below where you can head over to the website and find out about that information. You can also get a 50% discount on all of the products on Precision Fuel and Hydration by using the code RT15 at the checkout. Let's head back to the video. The Brooks Glycerin 20 costs £150. There's no US price at the moment. The weight is 298 grams or 10.5 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 10 millimeters. It weighs in at 233 grams or 8.2 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 8 millimeters. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 costs £155 for $160. The Glycerin line has long been a favourite for runners looking for comfort and cushioning over easy day miles and daily training. The Glycerin 20 sees one of the biggest changes to the shoe's design with the addition of the new nitrogen-infused DNA LOFT V3 midsole, aiming to be lighter, softer and more responsive than the previous versions. The upper is made from an engineered mesh that's built to offer breathability along with a secure fit, and there's plenty of padding around the ankle collar and tongue to provide a plush feel that cradles the foot on every run. The New Balance Fresh Foam More V3 is a shoe that, unsurprisingly, has a lot more cushioning than you'll find in other road shoes in the New Balance range. That midsole is a thick chunk of the same fresh foam you'll find in other popular options like the 1080 V11 and the 860 V12, and it's a foam that offers a good balance between cushioning and responsiveness. It's a shoe designed for tackling lots of training miles, deadening the impact and ensuring you can cover the distance in as much comfort as possible. The engineered mesh upper provides a plush ride that feels sturdy and reinforced, which combines with a wide base to ensure the overall feel of the shoe is both stable and reliable. It also has a lace closure design with trace fibre eyelets to ensure a lockdown fit, as well as a healthy covering of rubber on the outsole. So first, a little bit about the fit. I'd say the fit in both of these shoes is completely true to size for me. They are really comfortable. The New Balance More V3, it's a very roomy shoe. It's got a lot of wiggle room in the front. It's not a narrow shoe. It's got a lot of space for comfort. But what I have found is that shoe is also fits really well. It doesn't feel like it's loose. It doesn't feel like there's too much room in it. So it's definitely true to size, and also good if you've maybe got a slightly wider foot and you want a shoe that can adopt to that foot size for you. Just a great all-round fit, true to size for me in the New Balance More V3. Brooks Glycerin 20, exactly the same. It's got a nice little bit of room in the top. The wiggle room in the toes is really nice. Maybe a little bit narrow around the forefoot and the midfoot, but not massively. I wouldn't say it's as wide as the New Balance More V3, but definitely not an issue when I've been running in it. It feels like there's a little bit of space as well. So yeah, true to size in the Brooks Glycerin 20 for me as well. So when it comes to the run test, this is really difficult. both of these shoes are so similar, and the updates to the Brooks Glycerin 20 really have made this a very difficult decision for me to make in terms of which shoe I would go for. I think the biggest thing to mention about the Brooks Glycerin 20 is that it has now got this new nitrogen-infused DNA LOFT midsole, which is it makes a big difference to the Brooks Glycerin 19, which was a fantastic shoe at the time. That midsole in the Glycerin 20, it just feels a little bit bouncier. It just feels a bit more propulsive. It still feels soft. It still feels really comfortable like the Brooks Glycerin 19, but there's just a little bit more to it. And it definitely feels like a shoe that is designed to be even more versatile than the Brooks Glycerin 19, which, as cushion shoes go, is a very versatile shoe. It's not really a daily shoe. You probably aren't going to be able to use that shoe for faster sessions, but it's still great. You can still train it to quite a wide range of runs, and it still does a great job. The Glycerin 20, even better for that. I think that foam is just fantastic. It's one of the best new foams I've seen on a shoe recently, especially a cushion shoe. And it just sort of balances really nicely that soft cushioning with an also responsive bounce that you don't often get with a cushion shoe. The New Balance More V3 is a different type of foam. So that fresh foam is the same fresh foam that you get in shoes like the 1080, V10, V11, V12. And in those shoes, it's not really a very bouncy foam. It's also not that soft. So in those shoes, it makes for a very well-balanced shoe, which is why a lot of people use the 1080 for marathons and their training for marathons, because it's just a fantastic balance between that sort of cushioning, but also being able to run at a faster pace for a consistent time. Very good shoe for that, the 1080. The New Balance More V3 has a lot more of that cushioning here. And interestingly, by adding more of that cushioning, it changes the way that cushioning feels. So it doesn't feel the same as the fresh foam midsole in a 1080 because there's just a lot more of it. So as a result, it feels softer, it feels a little bit more forgiving, and it's a lot more comfortable. But equally, it loses some of that responsiveness as well. So it definitely, this is a cushion shoe. It's not versatile at all. The New Balance More V3 is designed purely for those runs where you just want comfort and cushioning over daily or longer miles. And it does a great job at that. When it comes to running consistently, I would say that the New Balance More V3 has a really nice fluid motion. There's a rocker design in it which sort of propels you forward a bit when you're running. Definitely feels like the turnover is nicer in this shoe. And when I've been doing 10 miles to 15 mile runs in this shoe, it really turns over nicely. It's just very comfortable. You don't go fast with it, but it feels like the shoe is helping you just keep that nice momentum going. And the cushioning in it still has a little bit of firmness in it as well. So it does feel like you can run in this consistently very comfortably. The Brooks Glycerin 20 doesn't have such a nice turnover. When I did my 11 mile race in it the other day, I found that the first 5 miles was really difficult in this shoe. I couldn't pick up a faster pace. I really struggled. It felt like it was deadening the impact of me running at pace. And I wasn't going at my full race pace. I was probably going at more like a slower marathon pace for me, which would be about 4-minute 45 kilometers per kilometer. So it doesn't feel like it's got a nice turnover for me. When you start trying to pick up the pace in it, it's very difficult to get a fluid motion with this shoe. And it did feel like it was deadening the impact of every step that I was running. Interestingly, and this is quite a strange one, when I got to the later miles, so when I was at around 8 miles of that 11 mile run, I did start to pick up the pace a bit, and I got down to about 4 15-minute kilometers, and it felt quite good. It's almost like it needed to warm up, or I needed to get into the fluid motion of the shoe. But the last few kilometers of that run, I did actually pick up the pace to that 4:15, and it felt quite good, but definitely didn't feel good at the start. When I've tried to run at pace in the New Balance More V3, it's just not designed for it. You can't go faster in this shoe. You can run efficiently and comfortably, and maybe if you were running a marathon and you wanted a shoe that just gave you the comfort and the turnover to do the distance, it would probably work. But it's never going to work for as a faster option, which is not designed for. Neither of these shoes are designed to run fast in, but I think the Glycerin probably is better for speed if you are aiming to do sort of racing in this shoe, as you're all in one shoe that you just want to buy one for, and then you want to finish a marathon in it. Also, the outsole on both these shoes is very good if you want grip. So both the More V3 and the Glycerin 20 have a lot of rubber on the outsole of these shoes to protect the midsole, and it does a great job. From what I've seen so far, the Glycerins have always been fantastic with outsole rubber. They're very grippy. This is no exception. I've ran on a lot of terrains in this shoe now, and it feels absolutely fine. Really enjoyed it. Same for the More V3. More V3's probably not got as good a grip as the Glycerin 20. That rubber is really sticky on the outsole of the Glycerin. But yeah, I think they're both very good for outsole protection. Okay, so my verdict from these two shoes, and this was a hard one because I really, really like the Glycerin 20. I've really been enjoying running in it recently. I think it's a fantastic shoe. I think it's an improvement on the Glycerin 19. And if this shoe hadn't existed, it would be a no-brainer for me. This would be my favourite cushion shoe out there at the moment. Just fantastic all-round shoe. But I would say that I'm still going for the More V3. I just think that midsole foam, that fresh foam midsole foam at that level, just feels really comfortable, but still has a nice level of firmness in it, so that you can have a really enjoyable, consistent run alongside that rocker. It just feels to flow for me. Every time I run in this shoe, it just feels to work. And when I go out for a run, and maybe I'm not necessarily wanting to go out for a run, or I've just got to do some miles and I'd rather not, this is the shoe that I'm picking up because I know it's going to be enjoyable and just keep me going until the end and just feeling great, basically. Glycerin 20, I mean, there's very little in it. I'd be more than happy to take this one out as well. But I would just say that for me, it's just a little bit harder in this shoe to just retain that consistent fluid motion. It's not bad, but the More V3 is just better at it. As well as the More V3 and the Brooks Glycerin 20, there are other cushion shoe options out there. You've got the Nike Invincible, which is a fantastic shoe. Very different than these shoes though. The Nike Invincible is so soft, so bouncy, uses Zoom X foam, which is the same foam used in the Vaporfly and the Alphafly, but just a lot more of it so that you can use it for daily training miles. That shoe just feels so bouncy and enjoyable to wear. But the one thing I would say about that shoe is that it just it lacks the firmness that, I mean, neither of these shoes are massively firm, but they are way firmer than the Invincible. That shoe just lacks the firmness for being able to run at a little bit more of a pace. Also, I feel that the foam in those, even though it's Zoom X foam, which you get in the Vaporfly, it doesn't seem to bounce you forward like you would get in the Vaporfly. It just sort of helps you up, so it's not really conducive to a nice, efficient turnover. It just makes running at slow pace really enjoyable and comfortable. We do get a lot of comments on the More V3 as well, specifically me. And some people aren't a big fan of this shoe. Some people do find that the shoe is just a little bit too much cushioning for what they want. That's absolutely fine. In that case, I think Glycerin 20 might be a good option for you. Also, some people have said that the durability on the More V3 isn't great. I haven't got to 300 miles in it yet, probably at about 100 I think so far in this shoe, so I'm a long way off seeing how bad it gets when it comes to durability. But again, if you're looking for more durability, it might not be the shoe for you if that indeed is the case. No idea what the Brooks Glycerin 20 durability is like yet. That nitrogen-infused foam does feel a little bit more delicate than something like the fresh foam midsole on the More V3, so I don't know, maybe it's not going to be as durable as the previous Brooks Glycerin 19, which was a very durable shoe, but only time will tell on that one. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click that little bell icon. Check the channel out for all the other videos we've got from the latest road and trail shoes, as well as headphones and watches out at the moment. And don't forget to check out the link below for Precision Fuel and Hydration to find out more about their caffeine gels, as well as just general information about how you should be fueling for your runs. Catch you later.